Because as a U.S. national, I have rights protected by the U.S. Constitution and the Supreme Court. I travel not for business and commerce. I just
Same thing. Same thing.
If the Mr. Williams in front of us does not admit that the ticket is in his name, is made out to him, I'd ask that the Mr. Williams on the ticket be given.
All right, everyone. Today we've got one of the most absurd sovereign citizen encounters I've ever witnessed. This guy somehow managed to rack up 17 tickets from a single traffic stop. And here's the kicker. He's acting like he's not even in court. Seriously, how does something like this even happen? But hold on, you've got to see how the judge completely shuts him down in the end. Trust me. You won't want to miss it. By the way, on a scale of 1 to 10, how low do you think this guy's IQ is? Because after watching this, I'm giving him a solid 2. Let's jump in and see what charges this guy's facing.
Suspended. Count 2, open alcohol in the motor vehicle. Count 3, no insurance misdemeanor. Count 1, open intoxicants in a vehicle driver. Count 2, furnish false forged info to police officer. Driver's license never acquired. Count 1. Count 2, no insurance misdemeanor. Count 3, drive unregistered untitled vehicle. Count 1, open alcohol in a motor vehicle driver. Count 2, tinted windows. Count 3, operator or front seat passenger failed to wear a safety belt. Count 1, drive unregistered untitled vehicle. Count 2, if that same ticket is drove while unlicensed.
Mr. Timothy Williams. Mr. Williams, state your name.
I object to the counsel.
What was that?
I object to counsel.
Your Honor, I spoke with Mr. Williams. He's saying it's not him, and he's all rights reserved. His name is all in all capital.
I object to representation.
What was that, sir?
I object to representation by you.
Okay. So you would like to represent yourself, Mr. Williams?
I'm not representing myself. I'm just here on special appearance, trying to clear this matter.
Okay, so you have to be the person in order to clear these matters. You just can't appear on behalf of someone unless you're an attorney. Are you an attorney, Mr. Williams?
I'm not the person, but I'm the live living Williams, not the Timothy Williams.
Are you Timothy Tally Williams? Do you know Timothy Tally Williams?
I am Timothy Williams, the living, breathing Timothy Williams, not the all cat that stays on my ticket.
Okay. All right. So do you want to try and resolve these today or no?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So you need an offer? Is that what I'm hearing you say? Because we can try and resolve all these tickets today if you want to.
Well, I'm just, because as a U.S. national, I have rights protected by the U.S. Constitution and
17 citations? This guy's out here collecting them like they're Pokemon cards. Honestly, he might just be the final boss of sovereign citizens. I'm not even sure he knows how to count to 17, but somehow he managed to rack up all these violations, like it's some kind of badge of honor. But enough about that. Let's stop wasting time and jump right into it to hear what this guy has to say for himself.
So if you travel, drive, ride, anything on the city streets of Detroit, then you have to follow the rules that the city of Detroit has imposed. And so if you have not followed these rules, then you receive something called tickets. And these tickets are given to you based on the license or prior license or identification ID that is given to you. So we can either resolve these today or we don't have to resolve them. It's okay. But I would like to try and resolve these so that you can move forward and do whatever you need to do.
yes, I would like to resolve them, but as the officer seeing in his computer that by the Secretary of State, my ID has been rescinded, canceled. I have a passport, and I'm traveling. I don't drive. I just drive here.
Hold on, but if you drive in a vehicle, you need to have a driver's license. Your passport does not enable you the ability to be able to drive on the streets of Michigan.
I travel not for business and commerce. I just
Same thing. They have to have licenses as well. Have you ever heard of a truck driver without a license that drives on the commutes on the freeways, roads, or byways? It does not happen. You have to have a license to drive on the city of Detroit, state of Michigan, all 50 states are under my assumption and ability. So Mr. Williams, I can't go back and forth. I have a lot of people on my screen. I know you can't see. We can have this discussion, but it just has to be near the end of the docket if you don't want to resolve it right now. Okay?
But for the record, Your Honor, I don't drive.
Go ahead.
For the record, I
Okay.
did not draft.
Your
Okay,
Honor.
so how do you want to resolve it today? If you don't want to resolve it, I have to move to the next person, Mr. Williams.
I would like to resolve this matter.
Okay, all right. So would you like me to get you a? Yes, Attorney Snyder, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Alexa Schneider for the people, P80322. If the Mr. Williams in front of us does not admit that the ticket is in his name, is made out to him, I'd ask that the Mr. Williams on the ticket be given a warrant and that this gentleman be removed.
Oh, right. Because the U.S. Constitution totally gives you the right to commit crimes and then pretend you don't exist in court just because your name is in all caps on a ticket. Seriously, somebody, please help me make sense of this. If any of you can explain what this guy is even talking about, drop it in the comments. These sovereign citizens really think they can just walk out of court by pulling out some nonsense. But guess what? That's not how it works. Courts have shut this down so many times, it's honestly becoming laughable. Just look at cases like United States versus Harwell or United States versus Cooper. The evidence is clear. At this point, these folks need to be sent to a deserted island or something because they're just out here mocking the court. They claim to be U.S. nationals or sovereign citizens, but in the end, it's all the same. They just don't want to take responsibility for their actions. But what do you think? Is this guy really trying to play the system, or is he just pretending to be clueless to get out of his tickets? Let's jump back in and see how he digs himself deeper.
Mr. Williams, on these tickets?
Excuse me?
I said, is it you, Mr. Williams, on these tickets? Because that's
So-
fair. That means that I'm talking to someone who doesn't have these tickets in my courtroom, and so that person has not appeared. But I'm assuming that it's you. Are these your tickets, sir?
If you assume, yes.
Okay.
I stand.
So do you want to, Mr. Williams, do you want to resolve these or not? We can't keep going back and forth. You want to take care of these today with some type of plea or no? That's my only.
I'm trying to resolve them, but I'm being threatened by imprisonment if I don't agree to these tickets.
Who's gonna send you to prison? I'm not sending anybody to prison today. I'm fining people. That's all I'm doing. I'm giving them fines, monetary fines.
The prosecutor just said she issued a warrant. She recommended a warrant be issued.
Right, but she's not gonna get arrested, but she's saying if you're not gonna say that you're the person on these tickets. Mr. Williams, I have 20 people. I can't argue with you at the beginning of the docket. I can argue with you at the end of the docket. So I'm gonna skip over this matter so we can continue. Let me get everybody else out, then I'm gonna give you all the time in the world and we're gonna figure out what to do with you today, okay? I don't mind taking the time, but I got all these other people on here who are looking like, come on now, okay? So just give me a moment.
Now this guy has to sit around for another 3 hours just to get heard again. What a complete waste of time, right? But trust me, the next part is pure gold. The judge literally breaks it down for him like he's a 5-year-old explaining things, as if she's teaching him how to tie his shoes. It's honestly like watching a kid get told no by their mom, except this guy thinks he's in the middle of some epic legal battle. The whole thing is honestly hilarious.
Timothy Tally Williams. These matters were called on the record previously. I took a moment off. We had quite a busy docket this morning, and I want to make sure that we could give Mr. Williams adequate amount of time to be able to have and all of his questions answered about the matters that are before this court today. Appearances for the record, starting with the city attorney, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Alexa Schneider for the people, P80322.
All right. He continues to not want counsel. Is that correct, Mr. Williams?
Correct.
Okay. Can you state your name for the record, please?
Timothy
Last name?
Williams.
Okay, sir. Now you've had the opportunity to sit and look and see how everything pans out and how everything works, Mr. Williams, right? Did you want to be presented with an offer today, or how do you want to move forward?
Well, the offer was to get all this.
So the offer was, I think, so he had some extra cases, Attorney Snyder. So it was FTD, failed to display a valid operator's license, and an open alcohol passenger that was being offered in exchange. We did have a couple of tickets in default, another open intoxicant driver, Attorney Snyder, and it was forged or false police information to a police officer. He may have just given him like a ID that expired. But if you plead to those two cases, the remainder of your cases will be dismissed.
No, I was talking about the agreement between me and you was to get this sorted out today. That's,
right. So so the options are, so these are your options. You can ask for a pretrial. That'll give you some time to get documents together and to get everything back in order and then present it to the court. You can ask for a bench trial. That's a trial before myself as the trier and finder of facts. Every single one of these officers who have made these allegations would have to appear on that date and come into court. Or you can ask for a jury trial. That's when the officers is in person. 6 citizens of the city of Detroit will make the decision based on the law. Officers still have to come in. You will have to come in at that point in time, and then we can resolve it that way. Those are the 3, or you can plead guilty or plead responsible at this point in time to the offer that has been extended to you. Those are the 4 things that we can do to resolve it today. And I guess the 5th one is if you don't want to do any of those, then it just remains as is and it just remains there. And then eventually it goes into warrant status.
Yeah.
All right, so I said,
rights, and I don't understand what's going on. So
okay. I don't know if they'll be able to help you. I really wish you would let us assign some counsel to you. They may be able to talk to you and help you understand a little bit better.
I tried, but he not listening, so I was just taking them on hands.
All right. Sometimes you have to be willing to understand that they're going to give you the law, not necessarily what you're following, but the law that we practice in the state of Michigan.
I have no contract. If I have no contract with the Secretary of State, then like, why am I being took for this? I'm going through the proper procedure to have my rights protected under the Constitution and Supreme Court. So,
Of Michigan?
of Michigan, what?
No, I'm saying the Supreme Court of what jurisdiction? Michigan or the United States of America?
United States.
It seems like the person you're referring to has a completely misguided understanding of the law. The U.S. Constitution, especially through the 10th Amendment, grants states the power to handle civil matters like traffic violations and citations. States have the authority to create and enforce their own laws, and just because someone claims they're exempt due to sovereign citizen beliefs, that doesn't change anything. Additionally, the full faith and credit clause requires states to recognize each other's public records, including traffic tickets. It's clear this individual hasn't grasped these basic principles, probably not something they learned in YouTube, law school. They might think they've found some loophole, but honestly, it looks like they're deluded by this flawed interpretation.
All right, they wouldn't have jurisdiction over local matters though. And that's gonna be the problem. You're gonna run into every time is the ways that local matters are held. The Constitution extends the right for us to locally handle certain matters, such as ordinance violations, misdemeanors, driving offenses.
Right, so if I'm not a U.S. citizen, I'm a U.S. national, what jurisdiction does that fall under? I'm not a resident or a U.S. citizen.
Oh, you don't live in the United States of America?
I live in the United States of America, but not under the jurisdiction.
So that's your resident. Are you born, like, do you have you said you have a passport, is the United States of America passport?
United States of America, but not the United States, the federal territory.
Oh, you didn't get so you don't have like a federal passport given to you. It's not a passport issued by the United States of America.
Sounds like this guy really thinks he's onto something with his sovereign citizen claims, but it's clear he's just wasting everyone's time. Honestly, I think the judge showed way too much patience. She could have shut him down much earlier, when he started spouting nonsense about traffic laws not applying to him. A more assertive judge would have probably cut him off the moment he went off track. That being said, letting him ramble on did give him the perfect platform to embarrass himself, which could be seen as a smart move to expose how delusional he really is. But from a time perspective, it's definitely frustrating to watch the court's time get wasted on baseless arguments. I get it, though. It makes for some pretty entertaining content for those watching these chaotic court hearings. Still, I think a firmer approach from the judge would have been more effective overall. What do you think? Did the judge handle it well by letting him talk himself into a hole, Or was it just a waste of time? Either way, I'm pretty sure this won't be the last time we see this guy.